Hey, thanks for joining us back here at the Range Report. Today we're up here at the Rockdale Rod and Gun Club in upstate New York. And about 150 yards ahead of us is a piece of 12-inch by 12-inch AR-500 plate steel. Today we're going to be taking a few shots at that. And to do it, we're going to be using this. The Mini 14, otherwise known as the Ranch Rifle. This particular model is chambered in 223 and 556. There is a lot of confusion when it comes to the Rugers as to which caliber you should be using in your rifle. The earlier models and some of the later models were just stamped 223, not 556. And even though those two cartridges are almost identical in shape and configuration, the pressure in the 556 round is substantially higher. So the early model Rugers were only intended for 223. So whichever rifle that you have or that you are going to buy, make sure that you're very clear with which rounds you're able to use in it, because the last thing you want to do is have a prolonged shooting session with 556 and a rifle that's only chambered for 223. You're going to damage the rifle and probably have a good chance of damaging yourself, so you're going to just want to be extra careful about that. Now, as far as the Ruger Mini 14 goes, today we're going to be shooting some American Eagle made by Federal. These are 223 rounds at a 55 grains, a full metal jacket on it. And this rifle is about as bone stock as you can get. A couple of stock swivels on it. And the only thing that I've added to it is a pick rail. And the only reason I did that was because my scope mount lost one of the mounting screws on it and it got a little loose. So just in the interest of getting this to the range today, we threw this pick rail on it, threw this inexpensive red dot on there. And we're going to see if this thing holds true. Last time I fired this rifle was about 3 months ago, and it was pretty good from this distance, but today we're going to throw some more rounds through it and see what we can do. Now, even though the Mini 14 functionally similar to the AR, the one thing that's different about this is the way that you get your magazine put in place. Unlike the AR where you have a straight in procedure, this one is a rocking procedure, much like what you have on the AK. At the front end of the magazine is a little hole that has a corresponding lug on the inside of the internal box here. You just lock that in place and it rocks in. Once it's rocked, you rack it and you're ready to go. So with our magazine in place, I'm going to throw my ears on. We're going to throw a couple of rounds down range and see if I can't hit that target. I can't tell if I hit all 5 times, but I know I heard the last one hit. But as you can tell, you have a positive bolt lock open on here. Drop your mag, put another one in there, and you're ready to go. Now, my scope seems to be pretty good as far as windage goes. My elevation is a little bit off. I know that last shot I had to aim at the bottom of the plate in order to hear that little bit of freedom ringing down range. So we're going to throw some more rounds through this thing and do a little bit more shooting. Alright, we got another 5 rounds loaded in our magazine. We're going to take another 5 shots at that plate steel and see if we can't hit it. And again, you put it in an angle, lock it in place, and she's good to go. And there we got it, another 5 rounds. I'm not going to be able to know whether or not I hit every time until I do a playback on it, but I'm going to assume I hit that 3 out of 5. Now, the red dot that I have on here has got no magnification to it, so it's only a tiny little red dot. The only problem is, as tiny as that red dot is, it's actually larger than the target. So when I put this in line with the target, I'm actually obscuring it because of the illumination. So I'm going to switch my colors and I'm going to dim the illumination a little bit to see if I can't get a better acquisition on my target. Now, what's also nice about this particular pick rail is that it's elevated. So right underneath it is a sight tunnel that you could actually use your original peep sights with the firearm and look right underneath it so that you have a co-witnessing ability, which is a really nice option. But like I said, we're going to load up a few more shots, see if I can improve on it. Alright, with the color on my optic switched from green to red, and with the intensity set at its lowest level, I have a better idea of where the target is in relationship to that dot. So I'm going to throw another 5 rounds through it, see what happens, and you guys can judge the performance of one of these rifles. Now, I can tell you that, like any other gas-operated system, this rifle is going to get hot, so you want to always try and keep in mind where the gas block is in relationship to your hand, because any prolonged use, you're going to start feeling it. But for now, I'm going to get these last 5 in, get my ears on, and go to work. Well, it seems I couldn't count that last time because I only loaded 4 rounds in the magazine. But out of the 4, I'm pretty sure I hit it 2 out of the 4 times, which isn't all that bad considering the 0 magnification and I'm looking at something about the size of a pen point through my sight. But you know, the AR-15 gets a lot more credit as far as accuracy goes because the original Mini 14s had a very thin barrel on it. And they said that the harmonics on it was such that you really couldn't get any decent reliability out of them past 100, 150 yards. I find that that's not necessarily the case with the newer models. The steel's a little bit different, the barrel is a little bit thicker. You can get these with a bull barrel, fluted, non-fluted, you can get them threaded. Ruger has got a world of options that are available to them. And, you know, for every shooter, there's a rifle. And for me, I just happen to like this one. Call me old-fashioned, but I kind of like the wood stock over polymer. You know, maybe it's just the way I was raised, but it also harkens back to the greatest generation. The guys who we use in the M1 Garand, the M1 Carbine, they're very similar in function, they're very similar in appearance, and knowing that this is an American-made rifle, it really... it makes you feel good to have one of these out at the range. So if you can get yourself a Ruger Mini 14, just make sure that you have cartridge compatibility between 223 and 556. And if you really, really want to have fun, you can look into the Mini 30. But we'll save that one for another review. But for today, I'm Frank with the Range Report. Remember to like, hit subscribe, and all that other good stuff down below. If you have any interesting links or commentary, drop it below. And you guys shoot straight. Be safe.